All right.
Do I just let my 17 male son fail?
Again,
Fail
just
what?
redundancy. Um,
I know. Male son. You mean male
I
daughter?
maybe it's just like the way things are written in here. Um,
The
my
pronoun.
my son Tom is 17, and in his heart, he's a good boy. His dad Alex, what you're giving us all the names. His dad Alex left
I
when we were
know.
4, throwing us into complete survival mode ever since, with me working nights and multiple jobs just to support us. I feel so guilty for the way his childhood was. He was a sad little boy who cried for his daddy while I went to work. He hates school and always has. It's been heartbreaking to watch his little spirit be crushed day after day going to school, where he has been miserable and never done well. His junior year is almost over, and he's failing multiple classes, and that's not counting the 4+ classes he had to make up in order to graduate already. He's almost certainly not going to graduate on time, or at least without massive effort on his part. He's also had multiple encounters with the police, some wrong place, wrong time, but at least one where by the hand of Jesus, he didn't end up in jail. He also has had many issues smoking pot, being an asshole in general. He lives upstairs and it is trashed. Like you can't even walk or open the door, it's so bad. My problem is that he's had a job for the last 5 months at Walmart where he's working from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. 5 nights a week. Because I still work nights, he either has to take an Uber or the bus and gets home around midnight. Then he
Oh,
wakes up late and misses all these classes that he's failing. He also doesn't take care of the dog. He doesn't take care of the dogs. Wait, he also doesn't take care of the dogs out, clean up after himself, trashing everything. I guess he doesn't take the dogs
mm,
out.
yeah, yeah, I get the gist.
The kicker is that his dad would let him drive his car to work and school if he passes a drug test. My idea, and makes it to school on time. But his alarm doesn't go off almost every single day. It's a disaster, and I don't know what to do. I'm terrified Tom is going to end up like my brother, smoking weed in my parents' house, 4 DUIs, in and out of jail, etc. I'm terrified he's going to end up in prison. His dad says that he won't learn until he hits rock bottom, and I need to stop babying him and let him fail. I'm at a crossroads here. Do I try to get him to get a more reasonable job, take away phone privileges, etc., or do I just provide the minimal food, water, shelter, and let him figure everything else out on his own? Am I overreacting? Please give me some perspective. I only have my own dysfunctional parents and Alex, the deadbeat dad, giving me their opinions.
Oh, that's a bummer. That sucks. So it's high school, right?
Yeah, I mean, from the first paragraph to the second paragraph, we jumped 13 years.
Right. But
What happened in between?
I think she said junior year of high school.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta like drag his ass there. Like, it's still high school. It's not like he's like out living on his own. Like he's under your roof, your rules, and he's your kid. Like you gotta just pick him up and drag him. I mean, if he fights back and you have no like adult male who you can really lean on, uh that's a tough one.
I mean, he's also working right out of school for 6 hours a night.
Yeah, like why is he working?
Like, how can he do homework? He doesn't even have
Yeah.
like a moment to do homework.
Like it's just high school. Like he needs to get done high school before other stuff.
Well, just from a
It's
logistics
too
standpoint too,
easy.
if he's taking an Uber home after
I
working
know.
6 hours, so he made let's say $120.
Right.
60 of that goes to taxes.
And the Uber.
And then the Uber is what, like $20 minimum?
How much
Like,
is he making?
right. I mean, at Walmart, I would say probably $20 maybe an hour.
Maybe
Maybe.
it's like benefits or something. Did they mention anything like that?
No.
Sorry, when they talk or when you talk, I think for this uh, mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs to catch, and I think this pretty much goes for a lot of people. You got to just wait for them to be in a good mood and make it seem like whatever your agenda is that you're trying to like push them in the direction of the best time to give them that first nudge, whatever the hell it is you gotta wait until they're in a good mood. And it seems like this guy's not in a good mood all the time. So like if you present to him shit that he's just like, even if you try in like a friendly way, if he's not in a good mood, if you can't like tell he's like, if he's not talking,
Mm-hmm.
just wait until you catch him when he's running his mouth and he's just for some reason just telling you about something.
Yeah, this
And
one's
then
tough.
don't overdo it. I know, again, I have a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Like, the only thing we can speak of is from our own being 17.
Yeah.
Um,
But I just deal with so many people and I'm like, I can tell when they're in a bad mood and when they're not. Because some people are assholes on some days and then sometimes they're nice other days. And I'm like, oh, because I'm just nice no matter what, like just a monotone, blank nice. You'll never know what mood I'm really in. But it's just like some people, it can't help but let you know
yeah.
that they're in a bad mood. So be mindful of that and don't attempt to get him on the right track in like an overbearing way
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think
long term.
there's nothing in here about what he wants to do. It's all about like the things he's not
Right,
doing, right? Like he's
right.
not cleaning his room, he's not going to class, he's not getting up in time.
It's like
You're only restricting him from phone,
it's
having
like
a car.
you're pushing a boulder up a hill, and on that hill are like a million tiny little rocks, and those little rocks represent like something like that. Like, so what do you like? Well, I like sports. Maybe I could be a broadcaster. Like, all right, are you working out? Like, what does your diet look at? Like
Right.
there's a zillion things that you got to get the ball rolling on. So keep that in
You need
mind.
some sort of goal in here, right? Like that's his goal, not your goal
Yeah,
for him.
right. But even getting to what it even could be is like, even that is like, you gotta bob and weave, like wait for
Yeah.
something to glimmer through and be like, what am I? And again, it's like when he shows interest, don't hop all over it because then he's gonna be like, fuck this, my mom, no, now she's ruining it for me. You know, gotta
Well,
bob
it's
and
just going to
weave.
be like it's going to be repetitive arguments, like, "Oh, you got to clean your room, yeah, go to hell," like in door slamming, right? Like it's oh, you got to get up to school. It's like you're not going to graduate. Oh, screw you. Like everything, and then
You
anything
got
that
to do your guitar lessons. You said
anything
you wanted a guitar. You got to do your guitar lessons. No, I fucking hate a guitar, mom. Like Jeff Jarrett, you
but
know?
then they're taking away their privileges, right? Like they're taking away any of his freedoms, like car,
Right. Of
phone, like those things are going away.
course.
His acting out is just, I mean, it sounds like there's a lack of a male role model, and you're expecting him to be irresponsible when his closest thing to a role model is not responsible. So he's going to be a bit nihilistic. Like he's going to be very, against the world, or what does the world owe him?
God, man.
But you need something. He needs to be aimed at something. And all the other
It's
things like taking care of the dogs, taking care of his classes, studying, going to work, like all of that then becomes part of what he's aiming towards. He's got to do. He needs to just say one thing, just one thing you want. Like you want an Xbox, fine. Like you want a basketball, fine.
it's
Like
it's like the it's like that male role model for the most part. Like I'm just speaking generally. It's like the dad role kind of like teaches you how to like plant your stakes in the ground and make your roof. You know what I mean? Like he teaches you how to kind of like exist, and like mom kind of teaches you how to like welcome people into that existence and keep them with you. You know?
yeah, but think about even like all the other male role models you had growing up. Like think about like Mr.
Yeah.
White and
Mr. Smith,
other Mr.
Mr.
Smith, yeah,
Donahue,
yeah,
Mr. Ward,
other
Mr.
consistent
Wick.
like coaches and teachers and stuff that we had. Like that. We compared with our dads. Like
Sure.
things were definitely different riding in, Mr. White's van versus like,
It's
like
funny, like
that's like put on a seatbelt, and Mr. White's like hold on to that bucket. Like you're like, and as a
that
kid, you're
was the
like,
best.
what is happening right now? Like, is this
I'm like,
acceptable? There's little things.
I'm learning how to like bend so many rules at once right now at this second. But it's like, not to bring up wrestling again, but like it was like admiring other older adult men was like something that I was like doing early in
Mm.
life, that people that weren't my dad, just because it was different than like basketball and baseball, like they spoke a lot. It was like,
Well,
that was like half of their job.
like for the wrestling, like
Yeah.
yeah, because they kind of presented personas. It would be the same as, like we've said before, like reading a Shakespearean novel or something. Like
Here's
it's
sort
like,
of like an option
right. It's
of
like,
how you could be
if you want to be, Razor Ramon, like you could
the
be a
coolest
cool
guy in the
guy with
world.
your hair, and you could just walk around with a toothpick all day and stuff. But like you're loyal to your friends or something. Like there's little things to pick up on.
Oh yeah, man.
But it sounds like this is like really rough. I really wouldn't expect too much from him, but I would maybe try to get him a mentor. I'm not saying like she should date somebody and make that person like his dad or anything. I'm just saying
I really
I would
wish.
there's people like I would mentor a 17-year-old if somebody asked me, like
Oh my god, dude.
I did Big Brothers Big Sisters for a long while, and the craziest thing about all that is that like when I got matched up, that he was 9 and now like Ruby's 8, like Ruby's about to turn 9. And I'm like, wait, like you were the age he was
Oh,
when I met him, like when I was like in my 20s. And
whoa,
I still felt
whoa.
like I was a kid. I'm like, what can I teach a kid? But one of the most important things that I found that I didn't understand at the time was that kids want time.
Yeah, that's
It
it.
wasn't about like what we did. It wasn't
Just
about like what
showing.
we said or anything like that. It was that he got an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours with me where I was just focused on him. And we didn't really have to do much. Like we went to like the library some days. Like some of the trips we did were pretty boring. Like one day I just drove out and we like walked along a farm where there were like cows. I was like, there's a cow. Another time I just took him out and we had like we
Holy
went to like
cow.
a Vietnamese place and had pho, and he was like, I've never had this before. I was like, yeah, that's why we're gonna have it. It's gonna be weird. And he ate it and he was like, oh, this is good. I've never had this and it's good. I'm like, yeah, there's lots of good things out there, And
Yeah, outside the bub.
but it's like
The final line in Abigail is, because there's this other side story about her and her son. Abigail, before the main character's leaving, she lets her go. Abigail goes, "Hey, it's mostly just about showing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, you got to remind. I want to like tattoo that on my forearm or something. It's like that's the biggest thing. Just be there whenever they
Well,
are.
it sounds like this mom is like it sounds like she's working, so I don't know if she's
I
going to be
wish
able
we
to
could get
do
in touch with these people and have them and have them on and follow up questions. Because there's so many questions that could help
that. Yeah. I mean,
continue this advices.
I think this one we are not the right people to answer it. Like I just don't think like we don't know. Like we're gonna enter into this. Our life isn't gonna end, but we're gonna enter into this when our kids get older. I'm a bit terrified of it, to be
Me
honest.
too. Me too.
Um,
I've never been more afraid of anything.
but hopefully through talking, because
Yeah.
we're also up against so many things. Like we're up against the phones, we're up against their friends' phones, we're up against like the
We're up
world.
against the world trying to aim nukes at itself.
Well, if that happens, I'm not too worried. Like that, I mean, then it's just like
That's another thing Civil
it's
War taught
done.
me. It's like, wow, there'll be giant, vast spots that don't even that pretend it's not even going on, and can.
Yeah, I'll be out on a battlefield somewhere, and I'll be like, well, at least I'm not trying to navigate puberty with my kids. So
Yeah,
dodge
right.
that bullet. Whoa, and I just
Yeah,
dodged that one. Oh,
got out of that.
yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it is kind of interesting. All right, last one.
Yeah, I know. It is interesting. You have a girl and a boy, which I think is less scary